Okay. Supposed to be on the call. Yeah. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope I'm still audible.
Yes, you have.
Okay. Awesome. I think, yeah, Binga is on the call. Good. Okay. Yeah. So good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and you're welcome to today's webinar. And I'm excited to have everyone here. Whether you are joining us from our bootcamp community or you're tuning in from somewhere else, I want to thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up for your growth. So quickly, today's session is going to be incredibly practical. It's going to be insightful, and especially for those of us that are preparing to take the next big step into our job market. Whether you're trying to land your first data role, whether it's an internship you're looking out for, whether you're trying to make a career switch, or you're just trying to build confidence to show up as your best self. So today we'll be hearing from two amazing professionals who are not only experienced, but they are also passionate about helping others grow. As we all know, in today's tech world, what we know is powerful. But what you know and how you connect with people, how you connect with others can open doors that you've never imagined. And that's why in this first session, we're learning about networking, building meaningful professional relationships that can accelerate your data career. Like I said, whether you're applying for internships, your first job, or you want to transition, in this conversation, we'll be learning more about ways to go about that. If you are aiming for roles like, let's say you're looking out for Power BI specialist role, you're looking out for whether just a data role, any role related to data, you're looking for the right way to network. You want to make a difference. You don't want to be overlooked. You don't want to post LinkedIn content or just reach out to people in their DMs and no reply. You want to learn how to do it the right way. So today, to walk us through this session, we have someone with us who not only talks about data, he lives in data, he breathes data. Our speaker is a senior data analyst with the government of Manitoba. He's also a Microsoft certified trainer. He's the founder of Data Jobs Nigeria, a platform where people come together, share information, and people learn real data jobs. Trust me. He's also the community lead for Winnipeg Power Platform User Group, and he's a passionate YouTuber. He's been consistently sharing best data practices, in Power BI, Dataverse, anything Microsoft data, you find him there. With his expertise in Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, SharePoint, SQL, Microsoft Fabric, and all of this, popular tools, he transformed raw data into actionable insight that helps others do the same. He'll be sharing with us for the next 30 minutes on how networking has shaped his own personal journey and how you too can build the right connections and grow in your career. He has about 10 minutes to take like 2 questions so that we can manage our time properly. So in 30 minutes, he's going to be sharing his journey with us. And in 10 minutes, maximum of 10 minutes, we'll be telling us, you'll be answering questions that you might have 1 or 2 questions. I would encourage us to, get a notepad, jot down something. You might have questions to ask him. So let's feel free to drop some clap emojis as we welcome our first speaker for today, Benga Adeyemo. I want to see our clap emoji. I want to see us drop our clap emoji. Let's welcome Benga Adeyemo. You are welcome. You're very much welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. You have the mic. Thank you.
Thank you, Abisola. Now me get all these profile. Oh my God. Okay, hello everyone. I'm happy to be here. Please, can you hear me clearly? Let me know if you cannot hear me clearly, so I can adjust my audio. Okay, thank you. I'll be sharing my screen. Just give me a minute. Okay, so my name is Benga Adeyemo. I'm a data analyst. I'm an MCT. I lead two data communities. I've trained over 3,000 students. If I should start from 2019 till now, the different programs, whether paid, unpaid, community, blah, blah, blah. My work experience has been in different sectors. The current one where I'm currently working is healthcare. I've worked in manufacturing, I've worked in retail, I've worked in logistics, and my career goal is to deploy so many solutions in the area of Power Platform and also in data analytics. Although I won't lie, I love data engineering anyway, but I would say I love everything. And my technical skills are just what Bisola has mentioned, nothing much. Let's go to why we are here today so that I will not waste time. Um, I know I'm supposed to speak on different ways of navigating the job market, how to position yourself, you know, using different strategies in terms of networking and a whole lot of things that we're going to discuss in a very short while. I'm going to be telling you a little bit of my own story, but I might not be able to go deep because of the time. But it's just to encourage everybody that we can all, start from somewhere. Okay. So, what is my story? I don't know if anybody here knows what they call SAPA. Does anyone have you heard that word before? The word SAPA. Anybody? Just do a thumbs up if you heard that word before. So, at the time of my life, after graduating from the university, didn't know what to do. Everybody did NYSC like every other person, and there was nobody to even tell you that there's something called tech. The only few ones that knew about tech were those that probably they had maybe one older uncle or they had one cousin, who has that exposure, or maybe they had somebody living in the abroad that is a tech person. You have somebody in their family that will tell you that go and learn a tech skill. Oh. So there was nothing like that. My parents were just civil servants, like some other people's parents that are here. They themselves don't really have the exposure to, right? So after university, NYSC, blah blah blah, I was working somewhere. I was working in a one-man business, and you know how one-man business can be. You are not really gaining any skill in particular. You're just like a corporate errand boy. So they tell you do this, do that, go here, go here, And at a point, I felt like no, this is not meant for me. I cannot continue this kind of life. I'm not gaining any skill. I know what people are doing outside. So as at that time, I wanted to learn web development. Everybody was saying, "Oh, go and learn go and learn web development. Go and learn how to do software and this thing, blah blah blah. Let's software, let's this and that." So I was confused, but at the same time, I was scared because I didn't have a science background. Even my so-called tech skills was not more than some basic Word documents and then maybe probably some small Excel. I could type things inside different cells, and that was like the maximum I had. I had no, although I know how to like get my ways around things anytime I'm using a computer, but nothing really deep, right? So at the time I said, oh, you know what if I go and learn coding and I did not eventually make anything out of it? So the fear was there for me, and I said, you know what, let me go for digital marketing. That is a very simple one. Doesn't require coding, doesn't require anything. It's just to be, doing stuff online. So when I got to where I was supposed to do my training, I saw the center manager, and she was like, you know what, do data science. There's a lot of opportunities there. People that are doing it are not that much. It's what is something that has prospects, blah blah blah. The world is going data now, blah blah blah. I said, okay, it's fine. Even though I agreed that I was going to try it out, the fear was there. Because I was looking at myself, I don't have any science background. I don't even know all of these things. Because I studied sociology in school. It doesn't have anything to do with computer or IT or whatever. So I enrolled for the program. What if I tell you that in the entire class we were up to 20? If everybody's code or DAX or the Excel expression was working, it's only me in the entire class that my own formula will not work. I mean, it was really frustrating for me at that time. And I had one friend, he was a very jovial, playful guy. The guy would tell me that, but you said you ran this code yesterday now. What happened today? It was funny, and at the same time, it was a very embarrassing situation for me at that time. So I remember that time, started learning VLOOKUP. Everything was new, everything was strange to me. Like the whole thing was very strange because I had no background, nothing. So what happened to me was what helped me was that as at that time, for me to actually understand what I've learned in class and for that thing to stick in my brain. So what I usually do is to gather people around me and start teaching them for free. And that was how everything I was learning now started making sense. I would say that by God's grace, in my class then, out of let's say we were like almost 20 people in that class, in that cohort, I was the first person that got a job among all my colleagues in that class. I was the first person that got a job, and at least before I left Nigeria, I worked in like four different companies. I was on my fourth one. The space of let's say 3 years. I was on my fourth job before I finally got the chance to travel. Now, how was the journey so far? I will tell you that it's not an easy journey. There are some days that you are tired. Some days you feel like, why did I even choose this career? Do I have to do this? There's some days that you create reports and you see errors and you can't even ascertain where the error is coming from. So a whole lot of challenges that comes with the so-called being a data analyst. But I have some I have some highlight for you that you can follow, right? It's so whatever I say here today is just based on my own school of thoughts. It's not general. You can choose to follow this pathway or choose not to follow this pathway, right? It is just my own, based on my own experience that I'm going to be using to talk today. Number one thing is learn the skills. So today now you have gone through some series of training. This morning I was acting at so I said, what did you teach these guys? He said that you guys have done some SQL, you've done some Power BI, you've done some Excel. I say fine, right? So you've done number one out of this list. You've learned the skills. Now, for the fact that you had some weeks of training and whatever, it does not mean that learning the skill is a journey that never ends. So don't feel like, oh, because now I've gone through some trainings and to some extent now I know how to use Telecta from. Probably I know how to bring in CSV Excel data inside of Power BI and start building reports. It's way more than that, right? Learning the skill, I usually tell my mentees that your skill level should not be determined by wherever you work, right? Wherever you work is just meant to give you your daily bread. That you have somewhere that you are going to, you are working there, you are doing your job, and they are paying you. It's a business transaction, right? They are not hiring you because they want to just put you there for fancy. It's a business transaction. They give you an offer letter because they believe that you have the skill and the capability to do the job. That's why they are hiring you, right? So wherever you are working, even if what they are using there is only Excel, your learning should not be determined by where you are working. If there is level 1 to 10 in data and where you are currently working, or maybe where you finally get a job, they are only using level 3 out of 10. You should not, because, oh, I'm at this level. This is the level where my office is, so I will also be at that level. There are some things that I learn, that I know, that I'm doing, that where I'm working currently does not require those level of skill. But because I know that there is a brighter future somewhere, somehow, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to come. But they always say that it's better for someone to prepare for an opportunity that you've not even seen, right? So rather than that opportunity will now come and you're not prepared. So it's always good for you to be prepared. And as I said earlier, that when you are currently working or when you finally get a job, should not determine your skill level. You should outgrow your job. That is the best way of measuring growth. You should outgrow your job. If your workplace is only probably SQL and Excel, try and learn your Power BI. Try and go on YouTube. Try and do more courses to keep learning. Look for the latest updates. What is that thing that is now in Power BI that is not like that magic thing that everybody is learning? What is that update about SQL? What are different ways I can do things better? Right? Now that you have learned the skill, you have the basic understanding of these things now. The next thing is to build, to create projects. You know, try and create projects. Look for sample data online. You can even, in fact, it's so easy now that with the advent of AI, you can even tell ChatGPT DeepSeek to create a fake data for you. Just one, data online. You can just use that data to create a small report, and all of those things. And you can design your dashboard. You can design your whatever reports that you are building. You can, create a portfolio. You can use GitHub. You can use Google Portfolio. There's a lot of portfolio websites that you can look at online, that you can create reports there. You can look for some SQL. You can look for some, maybe for example, some SQL challenges online, and just solve that challenge and document whatever you've done and put it on your portfolio. Because those are the things that for somebody who is just starting out, you don't really have a track record of working in a lot of places. So that is the only thing that will actually give you, well, let me say, that is part of what will count for you. That is going to give you that leverage for you to be giving that your first job, that your first entry level job. So it is very, very important for you to create portfolio, create projects, put them on your portfolio, attach the link of that your portfolio, attach that link to your resume when applying for jobs, right? Now, when you've learned the skill, you've created projects, you have your portfolio. The next thing is to start applying for jobs, right? When you apply for jobs, now there's one mistake that we usually do, especially in Nigeria. Maybe it comes out of laziness or out of not being informed, right? I'm so sorry if I'm using that word. And it's because we usually use one CV, one resume to apply to like 100 jobs. It doesn't work. Now, there's something called application tracking system, or is it applicant like ATS, right? It has some AI embedded inside it that when you submit your resume for a job application, it's going to scan through the resume. And if it cannot find the keywords, some keywords that are important. Now, there are some keywords that are important. Some are some are very important, some are important, some are not very important. So depending on how the poster of the job structured those keywords, right, will determine how the application platform is also going to scan your resume and prioritize you. So if it scans your resume and it does not see at least 75 to 80% match of keywords, that's why you see that sometimes you apply for jobs and you probably always get, I'm sorry to inform you, it's because we don't understand that trick yet, right? It took me a very long time before I understood it, that most of the people that get interviews, it's not as if they know more than you know, right? It's just because they are smarter. They know the application gimmicks, they understand the in and out of job application and how to ace an interview. That's why you see them getting interviews. Why somebody is still looking for one job? Some people have changed job in 2 years. I keep wondering, how is this guy doing it? How is he getting interviews? I've been applying. I'm not even getting interviews to the point of even being close to getting the job, right? So you must always create one resume for each job application. Now, let me ask you this: is it not better for you to apply for 3 jobs in a week and apply properly than use one resume to apply for 15 jobs and not get any interview at all? You understand? So it's very important for you to always create one resume for each job application. Don't do the lazy work of using one resume to apply for several jobs, right? Now, this part is a part that I'm really interested in. is a part of revamping your LinkedIn. Some people's LinkedIn, oh my God, some people's LinkedIn, I don't even know where to start from. Their LinkedIn is not attractive. The way they write their headlines, up to the way they write the about of their profile, the way they structure their work experiences, and all of those things. Imagine somebody on your headline, only you have like 7 job titles. You are a project manager, you are a scrum master, you are a data analyst, you are a tech evangelist, you are a CEO. I mean, you are everywhere. And you start to confuse potential employers because they don't even tend to know where you are. They don't even understand what you are doing. You are not carving a niche for yourself. Your profile is not speaking well about you. These little things are things that are very important that you must consider, right? Because that is your own public profile. That is where every employer that wants to look for somebody will usually go to and look at people's profile, right? I don't know, maybe in Nigeria, I don't know whether it is something that is very prominent now, but in the advanced part of the world, you cannot afford to create your LinkedIn profile anyhow. You cannot afford to just do it anyhow with the hope of somebody will just, a miracle will just happen to you and somebody will just see you and say, no, I want you to come and work with us. I want to interview you. No, there are some keywords that you must use in your LinkedIn, whether in your job title, in your job description, whether in your headline or in the about section of your LinkedIn, right? And there's this algorithm in LinkedIn that if a maybe a potential recruiter, because most of them usually use like LinkedIn Premium sometimes, right? So when you're looking for maybe you're looking for a candidate, you usually, there's this LinkedIn package that is for recruiters, like they pay for it, right? So there are sometimes they just type in those keywords, and based on those keywords, it's going to recommend people for them, right? It's going to bring out the list of some people, maybe based on the particular location or whatever, depending on what they are looking for, right? Uh so your LinkedIn revamp is very, very, the way you revamp your LinkedIn is very, very important. The kind of your headline goes to your about section, to your job description, and even to the kind of things you post. I'm still going to go to that because I'm going to be sharing some testimonies with us so that we understand how important LinkedIn is very, very important. My first data job ever in my life, I got it through LinkedIn. How did I get that job? That particular year, I posted on my LinkedIn that I was looking for a job. I crafted a very nice resume, right? I posted it on LinkedIn, and all the senior data professionals that were on LinkedIn, people that I did not even know them from Adam, they started reposting that resume everywhere. Some were commenting, and that was just the beginning. And somebody among them, if I tell you that up till now, I have not seen that person physically before, up till now. And the person, I just went to his DM, I messaged him, I just said thank you for reposting my resume. I appreciate it and all. And I said, oh, no issues. That if there's anything, any position available anywhere, maybe among his friends or connections or whatever, that he was going to let me know. And that was getting close to the time I was to finish my data science program I was doing. So after 2 months, the guy just called me one day that I should call this also number, that the person is the hiring manager in charge of the position. I was happy. At the same time, I was a little scared. So I called the person. I told him from this also person, and the guy interviewed me on the phone, and he told me to go through one of their partner agencies like that. I went to the HR guys, and his own was the last stage, and he gave me some Power BI tasks to do in his presence. I did it, and he already told me that I got the job, and I should resume on Monday. When I was staying in Ibadan then, so I had to quickly pack my stuff and I had to move to Lagos. So That is the power of networking on LinkedIn, right? Anybody can, God can use anybody to give you your first job, right? You don't have to be reliant on anybody per se, but you can try your best. But one of the best ways of getting a job, I'm telling you, is through networking. It's through recommendation. That's one of the best ways that you can get job. You can apply from today to tomorrow. You can craft a good resume. You can do the right things that every applicant will do. But there's always somebody somewhere who knows somebody and that person knows somebody, right? That will just tell you, say, Shagun, do you have anybody you can recommend? In fact, it still happened to me yesterday when somebody called me to recommend some resume for a team lead position as one of the, I won't mention their name, right? So that is the way it happens sometimes. So imagine me recommending somebody for that position and the person finally got the job. Is that not better than going through all the whole stress of creating bogus and enticing resume and ATS, voila, blah blah blah. So networking is very important. Now, how do you even network? That's a good thing. Now, when you do, if, for example, if you come to my DM, for example, and you just type in a message, just type I or hello. I mean, I will just be looking at you like, what do you mean? What do you want? You understand? But if you send me a DM and say, hello, my name is Shola. Uh, I'm new to data analytics and I'm learning and I want to grow and I'm connecting with you so that I can learn from you. Or if anything comes up from your end, I'm available for, if you send me that kind of message, I will know that your approach is very good, right? And you're somebody that is sensible, right? And I would see you as somebody that thing will not leave my head because anytime somebody comes up to me and say recommend people for this thing or just a gig somewhere, I'll quickly remember you that if somebody that chatted me out on LinkedIn, let me go and message the person and tell the person that are you available for this kind of gig, you know. But if you just come to somebody's them and say hello, hi, and you leave them, they are not the ones to be asking you what you want or why are you messaging them. You have to state the obvious right from the beginning of the conversation. You don't have to wait till the person will now reply you hello to before you now say, well, that's my own opinion anyway. I just believe that when I meet somebody, I will let them know the reason why I'm sending them a DM right from the beginning, so that we are clear on why we are relating in the first place, right? So it's very very important. Now, this last part that I want to talk about, I hope I still have time. I have spent my more than my time, Bisola. So this last
Sorry,
part,
you have 30 minutes more.
13 minutes. Wow, I'm very fast. Okay, this last part is a very important part that I will beg, like I can go on my knees and beg everyone here that you should never joke with it. It's building online. Hmm. You see, building online, it can change somebody's life forever and ever. When you are learning something and you are telling people about your journey, what you are learning, just like the one that Bisola has been doing since like some days now, 40 days of data science, you know, and she shares her learning journey with everyone on LinkedIn. People are seeing it. You learn something new, you post about it. You see, it's because of the way the stereotype about LinkedIn. People feel like, when I go to LinkedIn, I'm always saying I'm happy to share that. I'm happy to share this and that, and you're not feeling intimidated. You want to be comparing yourself with people that have been doing this thing for the past 7, 8 years. It doesn't work like that. You cannot be comparing. See, comparison is a killer of joy. Stop comparing yourself with people that have been doing this same thing, they have achievements on the job. You are comparing yourself with them. It doesn't matter where you start from. Even the Bible says it. Sorry, I'm quoting the Bible, but for the Muslims that are here, that never despise the days of little beginnings, right? So, and never, not be comparing yourself with those that have been doing it for a while. If you learned how to just do VLOOKUP, Please post it on LinkedIn. That today I'm happy because I learned how to use VLOOKUP, and you will tell us what you use VLOOKUP for. So sometimes we are discouraged because when you post on LinkedIn, you are expecting 500 likes, 200 reposts, 200 reposts, and then probably some nice comments. It doesn't work like that. All those kind of things, they require consistency for you to get that kind of traction. But if you don't start somewhere, or you are comparing yourself with somebody who has been consistent on LinkedIn, who has built a portfolio for himself online, who has built personal brand, you don't compare yourself with him, and has been consistent for the past 3-4 years, regularly posting on LinkedIn. You cannot compare your traction with that person's traction. No, right? They are not on the same level. So start from somewhere. The more you post on LinkedIn, I told you earlier that there's an algorithm in LinkedIn that when you keep posting and you keep using some kind of hashtag, when recruiters are looking for talents and they type in some keywords, and those keywords are what you regularly use, your name will come in the top 100 for them, and they can scan through your LinkedIn profile. I'm telling you, whatever you do online, people are looking at you. Some people will not press the like button, but they see what you do. That little thing you are posting that you feel is little is impacting somebody you might not know. That problem that you were able to solve and you shared on your LinkedIn feeds, that thing there might be somebody saving grace at their place of work. So you can't tell. So building online is very important. Whether you are learning something new, post about it, brag about it, right? And also, with the help of ChatGPT now and all these AI tools, if you have a LinkedIn post idea in mind, you've learned something new, but probably you don't know how to craft it, right? You want to make that your post, you want to make it very attractive. You can just go to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, hello ChatGPT, I learned about something today on social topic in Power BI, and I want to post it on LinkedIn. These are my thoughts. Can you help me create a short post? LinkedIn will help you and create it. You can choose to edit whatever it has done and reshape it and post it on LinkedIn. In fact, it doesn't have to be every time you post. You can even do a short video. Just record it very short. That's what I see that Bisola does. Just one very short video. It might be you typing the DAX formula. It might be you typing your code, and you just talk about that thing, and you do a short video about it. It might not be more than 3-4 minutes video, and you explain what you've done, right? And you're consistent like that. You're consistent like that. There's a lady, I will not mention her name. I heard her story. She's in Nigeria. She's not in Nigeria now. She's now in Europe. She's into Power Platform and Dynamics 365. I heard her story that it was when the likes of some senior colleagues in data, they took Power Platform to Benin, right, to University of Benin in Edo State. That was when she started learning Power Platform, and she was always posting online every time, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, everywhere. And she didn't care about people's opinion. What would they say? All this inferiority complex. I'm just starting out. Who will even read my post? Who will like my post? Please go and stop all those things and post whatever you want to post. And this lady was consistent that a company in Europe relocated her from Nigeria to Europe. If I keep telling you testimonies, I will not leave here today because there is a lot of testimonies I can tell you about. And these are not testimonies that were formed. These are people that we see them and we know them, right? One of my class captains yesterday was telling me about a guy that he got a job in a US company and a UK company. How did he do that? This guy would recreate somebody's beautiful dashboard and acknowledge them, give them credits. He will recreate their dashboard and will post it on LinkedIn. And from there, that was how a CEO of a company in the US reached out to him and In fact, he said without any interview, this guy was working remotely for a US company. So I'm pretty sure that you know that the guy is going to be earning in dollars, right? Now, this same guy, somebody created a Tableau report, a Tableau dashboard or whatever, and he recreated the Power BI version of that same report. Another company in the UK reached out to him. Now, his guy is currently working for another UK company. Now, people were reaching out to him. Oh, can you teach me this? Can you teach me that? And he had another consulting gig that he was just teaching people how to create beautiful reports. So imagine how the guy is making money from every corner, right? So assuming that same guy is saying, I'm shy, I'm an introvert, I don't like posting on LinkedIn, I'm a low key person. Don't let me say it's low key that will kill the person. I'm telling you, there's nothing like low key. There's nothing like being introvert. There's nothing like I'm shy when it comes to building. When you build online, you are building your career. You are building your personal brand on LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn post is not about posting for posting's sake. It's about building your personal brand. Let people know you for something. That in this area, in this niche, this is this guy's niche. For example, for myself, I've chosen Power BI to be my career path. I've chosen to be a Power BI developer, and I want to be very good at it, up to a point that I can be consulting. If I did not get to that level, there is no rest for me. I will keep learning and posting on LinkedIn and building my brand online until one day I will have built my brand such that even if I leave a job today, I will not spend up to 5 days at home and another job will come. Whatever you are doing online, people are looking at you. People, CEOs are looking at you. Potential recruiters, they are looking at you. It might not make sense to you at the beginning what you are doing. You might not have enough likes and reposts and comments and stuff at the beginning. But if you start today and you continue and you are learning and you are sharing and you are learning and you are sharing it, I'm telling you that the sky is not even the beginning, right? I was telling, was it was it Follow Show I was telling, or was it Abisola that I was telling that there was one gig that I almost got, but because there was a little disagreement with the on some terms and conditions with the our learning partners that were involved in that gig. They wanted to pay $1,000 for Excel training, and the training was for 2 days, and they will
Sorry,
pay for
sir. You
flight.
have about 2 minutes more. Sorry to
Yeah, yeah.
cut in.
I will soon hear my talk. So they'll pay for flights, they'll pay for hotel, they'll pay for everything. That same Excel that I learned how many years ago, the same Excel, you know, can bring money. I keep wondering that most of the things that we do, we don't even know the value of it yet until somebody calls you for something and they say they want to pay you for that, and you'll be like, this same Excel, are you serious? Is it that important? So building online is very, very important. Revamping your LinkedIn, always posting, always sharing your thoughts, always sharing your thought process and everything. So these are very important things. I think I've come to the end of my discussion before Abisola will kick me away.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't know about others, but personally, I've learned so much. And then to save time, please, if you have any questions, can we drop it on the chat box to, to save time? Oh, I'm so sorry. To save time, let's try and drop it on the chat box. Okay, I think Tolulope's hand is up. Okay, you can quickly ask your question, please. This is just one person. So we have 2 minutes more to answer the question. Okay, maybe that was a mistake. His hands are not up again. Ask. Okay, okay. Oh, you can speak. I see you're trying to unmute.
No, no, no. I was just trying to clap. I was,
Oh,
yeah, sorry about that.
okay. Okay, all right, yeah. So for me personally, I learned so much. If we have any question, please, we don't have so much time. It's 1 minute left. You can drop it in the chat box. So for me, the key takeaway, whether we are working on a project, you're building your skill, we should share online, revamp our CV, people call it packaging, so to say, the way we organize ourselves online. And so much he shared so much that I think this is a master class that people pay for. And then so this is amazing, really. I want us to keep the conversation going, and of course, I want to say a big thank you to Benga Adeyemo. Thank you so much. Out of your busy schedule, the time difference, and everything, you decided to share this with us. The strategies, real life insights, real life story that we can all relate to. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been amazing. Thank you so much. So for me, quickly, after I'm building line, I'm working on projects, I'm doing all of these things.
Mm.
Okay, I think people are dropping some what's comment also. So after we've built all of this, we built right connections, you'll be sharing on LinkedIn. I've learned the act of approaching people on LinkedIn, not just going to someone's DM. I'm saying I'm looking for a job. I've learned the
Yeah.
act of building real genuine relationships. So the next thing is, okay, now that I've gotten referral, I've built relationship, how do we now learn these roles during interviews? How do we conduct ourselves? How do we
Mm.
master the act of the strategies involved when you're going to your interviews, how you can confidently land your dream role. So we have
Okay.
our speaker here, yes, Tolulope Adelabi, I'm so sorry, Tolulope Adelabi, someone who has spent over a decade working in the banking sector. He currently serves as a talent management analyst at Union Bank of Nigeria. Is also deeply involved in strategic initiatives that drive performance, employee development, and growth. And he's not just a professional HR, he's someone that is passionate about mentoring young talents. He's here to share with us real and practical advice on how we can stand out during interviews. We've learned about how we can, work on projects, how we can be strategic about how we share our projects online, how we can build this LinkedIn presence, Twitter presence, just to share with the world what we are doing. So we actually, now that I've now gotten those things, we now need to learn how we can, stand out during interviews. So briefly, we'll speak with us for another 30 minutes, and the 10 minutes for questions and answer if we have any. But I would suggest that due to time limits, we should drop the questions in the chat box. We can also follow up with any of the Datakliq admin, or we can even reach out to these speakers via social media. You can reach out to them on LinkedIn so that we can save time. So please join me in welcoming Tolulope Adelabi, and you can I want us to be free, or let me say, feel free to drop your clap emoji, thumbs up as we welcome Tolulope Adelabi quickly. Thank you so much, Tolulope. You have the mic. Thanks so much, Benga. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, Abisola.
You're
Good
welcome.
evening, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me clearly.
Okay, I can hear you personally. Can we all drop our
Okay.
emojis? Yes,
Okay,
thumbs up.
yes, thank you, Davis. I can see that. Thank you for this privilege to be on this platform. And I want to say a very big thank you to the first speaker, Mr. Gbenga. I was literally taking notes. I think I have a few things because they say no man is an island, you understand, irrespective of the field you are in. He said a couple of things that I think, for me, yes, there are some good takeaways. So thank you very much, Mr. Genga. And I was going to even say probably it was as if we shared notes when it came to when we were talking about the resume part of it, because this is some of I will be touching a little bit of that. But you've made it even easier for me when you talk about them. Packaging their resume for different jobs. You understand? It's unfortunately it's a disease. You see people throwing out the same resume for different roles, and they'll probably be surprised that why am I not being called for the interview? So on that note, I'll be bringing up my slide, and I will be as brief as possible, but I'll be speaking to some very salient points. Okay, please let me know once you can see. Abdullah, please could you have confirm once you can see my slide?
Yes, I can see your slide.
Okay, thank you very much. So what I'll be dropping here are just a few tips. You understand, tips, strategies, and things we should avoid when we come to the point of interview. Everything Mr. Benga said is you've built yourself. You're a tech expert. I don't believe people on this call either are data enthusiasts. You understand, probably starting out a data career job, or probably you're even in one but you want to switch. You understand. So he has laid very good background for this. And just as Bisola rightly said, you already have that experience, you have that knowledge, you have that skills. The question now is how do you now present yourself? You know what I tell people is that interview point is you selling yourself, as it were. You'll be surprised that you might have two individuals, and we've seen this. At least I think I've seen this in instances where I've been privileged to interview when I used to be a team lead in our contact center then. But I see two different individuals. You understand, you're engaging two different individuals, and you just find out that probably the thin line between candidate A and B is just that A was able to sell himself. Unfortunately, B could even be more hands-on. You understand, B could be more hands-on even in terms of the skill. But you have this package, you can do every of the things that Benga said. You get it, you have the Power BI skill, you have the MS skill. But the question now is, how do you, even here, probably with the help of AI and everything, you've been able to build a very nice resume. But how can you now sell yourself? You understand, to the panelists. You get it. So those are some of the few things we just want to look out for. Yeah, and he said something very striking. He said, let's always prepare for days of opportunities. You know, there's a saying that you don't get to start digging the well when you are thirsty. You understand? Fortunately, you might probably just die digging. You dig ahead of the days of test. Then when you now get tested, all you just do is what? You draw water out of your well. So prior to interview, you're already building your skills, you're building your project. And one thing I'm going to chip out here, particularly for us that are data enthusiasts and professionals, you know, those in the data field, and unfortunately for maybe this side of country where you want to see some people looking out for cheap labor, you understand, it's not the right way to go. But unfortunately, there are some people out there ready to take interns, or they'll tell you people should come in intern to 6 months, 7 months, no pay, as it were. But I want to tell us that yes, though looking at the situation of country, everybody needs money, you need a paying job. But please, as data enthusiasts, if you have the opportunity to intern somewhere without being paid, gladly take it with all your heart. You understand? You at that point in time might be a little bit difficult, but you are giving yourself some opportunities. You know, one of the things probably when you come to the interview desk, people want like, okay, what's your experience like? What are the things you have done? You get it. You might not really have the paid experience in quotes to say, okay, a formal experience, I was working with this company. But if you have intern at different places, and as data analyst, as data engineer, data engineer, data scientist, and as Mr. Menga said, you're doing your projects. You understand all those things, those knowledge and experience you've gathered is yours, and they will come to tell on the day of reckoning. You understand? So please and please, as data enthusiasts, and as upcoming data professionals, even whatever we are learning at the moment, please, when you have an opportunity to intern, please do that, because you are gradually building your resume. You have built project at one level or the other. Have it right there in your resume, so that all these things you can now speak to at point of interview. So quickly, so the few things I will just speak to are these 5 bullet points: pre-interview preparation, tips to stand out during interview, common errors we should avoid. That's why I said common, because there could be several errors, but maybe just common. These are few things. You know, sometimes people say it might just be little things that matter. You might never can tell what people are looking at when they are engaging you. So these are just a few of them. There are strategies for success during interview and some post-interview action. So very quickly, when we say pre-interview preparation, what are you looking out for? You understand? What are you looking out for? It's very it will interest you to know that some people appear at the place of interview and they know little or nothing about the company. You understand? Though here on my slide I put company, but please also industry. You can apply it to industry. So yes, you are shifting, you are trying to move from a job A to B, or you are even just starting out and you are privileged. You understand everything Benga has said. You've packaged yourself on LinkedIn, or you've gotten a referral or a recommendation, and you are privileged to get the opportunity. Remember, I said interview point is a point for you to sell yourself. You understand? And I always tell people when you have the opportunity for interview, many people keep crying, I didn't get an interview opportunity, I'm not invited. But when you have that one, you don't mess it up. So anytime you have an interview, always put your best foot forward. And part of putting your best foot forward is please do a research about the company you're going to. Do a research about the industry knowledge. You understand? Sometimes at the point of interview, beyond the technical knowledge you have, you understand? Yes, you have the technical knowledge because by the time we start talking about technical part of what you do, yes, you can speak to it. But sometimes we now ask a few questions. It might just be one line. What is a trending thing in your space or in this industry? You understand? And it's so unfortunately that might just be one thing that might take you out of the pool. That might just be one thing that will say, okay, let's put this guy aside. He's just probably too into his own space. But please, let's take a step forward and thank God for the today where we are in days of where we have IT. We can always get anything at your fingertip. You can be in your house and you can get to know the A to Z about a company. You understand? So you just don't have to be lazy. I don't think I said that. I think the major problem of people or prospects today is just that laziness. If you're not lazy, you can get every information you need. Secondly, align with company goals. You understand? So you need to tailor anytime you are privileged to be at an interview panel. Remember, you've done your research. Sorry, some noise on background. Remember, you've done your research. You understand? So you know the mission, you know the vision, you know the goals. You understand? You know what this company are into. And please, but sometimes if for a venture you get an interview opportunity via referral, feel free to engage whoever refer you. The person might know one person that knows another person on the inside that can just give you, because sometimes on the net you might probably not see the goal of an organization spelled out. You might probably just see the mission and the vision, but you might probably need an insider to be able to tell you, okay, this is the focus, you understand, of the company for this season. Yeah, yes, goals could vary for the particular period, for this financial period, for this month, maybe for Q1, for Q3. This is the goal of company. So if you are privileged to have that information, try as much as possible to tailor your engagement to reflect the company's goal. You understand? Then okay, I've talked about being informed about recent development within the company and even in the industry. So that's just one step. Then secondly, prior to any interview, please, the internet is just at your fingertip. Practice. You understand? Practice. You get it. One thing practice will help you to do is at the point of interview, it helps you to it reduce the anxiety. You understand? It just builds your confidence. It builds it makes you coherent. It enhances your performance. Yes, though there's a little thin line which I will get to in the don'ts and the errors, because sometimes they practice and some don't actually practice. They will just probably, will I use the word cram in quotes, and you understand, and you get to the interview, you now just start pouring down the things you have read. No, those practicals is supposed to just be a guide. You understand? And for every practice question, every practice interview question, try to see how to tailor the response. Yes, you have your chat GPT and every other AI to where you can get common interview questions, and even it will give you possible responses. But see how you can now internalize those responses and align it to yourself. So ChatGPT might give two of us same response, but the way I will present it might differ from based on my own unique experience and based on your own unique experience. You understand? So when you practice, you tailor whatever suggested responses to your own unique experience, and you should see that it's going to make you more confident at the point of engagement. Then for us in HR, there's something we always look out for when we engage. We say using the STAR method. You understand? I didn't spell it out here, but star S there talking about the situation. T is talking about the task. You understand? Then A, okay, R is talking about result, and A is talking about the achievement. You get it? So now for every issue you have, okay, like using we are data enthusiast, when you have a project, you don't just come up to say, I want to do a project. For you to do this, say you want to do a project, you must have identified a situation or a problem which your project wants to resolve. So in the instance that, on the interview, I will say, okay, introduce yourself. I will probably tell us what you've done. Or sometimes when we see some things in your resume, you might say, okay, speak to some of the things that you've highlighted in your resume. And probably you've been able to identify one or two projects in your resume. You should be able to now, if you want to speak to a particular project, you should be able to use the STAR approach. STAR means that what was the situation that led to the birth of that project? What did you identify as a problem in that space that you are trying to resolve? You understand? Then T is now the task on ground. Are you with me? Then A is now okay, what was achieved, you get it, and R is now the final result. So when you structure your answer to fit into this, I can tell you are just one step ahead of the other interviewees. Yeah, so these are some little tips that we look out for that could just differentiate a candidate A from a candidate B. Then I want to talk about preparing your resume and portfolio. I won't stay long here. As I said, Mr. Bing already did justice to this. Tailor your resume, update, you understand, tailor it to the role you're applying for. You understand? Let there be that uniqueness. It was telling you about some things that, okay, some AI tool that will just do a quick scan on your resume and probably just sift some resume out and say, okay, this one, those keywords. And sometimes to give us as an expo, even in the advert, some of those keywords are there. So if you say maybe a vacancy, and I'm telling you that, okay, I need you're privileged to say vacancy online on LinkedIn, saying need a role, maybe a data analyst somewhere, data scientist. Yes, you already know, okay, you can always Google what's the function of a data analyst, what's the function of a data scientist. But don't just use that general outcome from your research to just tailor your resume. Look at what the hiring manager specifically has said. Because the truth is that when we're trying to hire and try to fill a role, there are specific needs that we want to fill anytime there's an advert. And most times, you understand, 90% of the time, if you take time out to look at the advert, those things are captured there. So you might look at, okay, what they want in terms of their technicality, what do they want? When you see a vacancy, it might give you the job description, what they want in terms of the suitable candidate, you understand, and some things that the job entails. If you take time out to read line by line what the advert, you'll be able to capture some of the that this hiring manager is looking out for. When you've been able to identify those key things, now you go back to your own resume and tailor your resume, you understand, and see how some of those keywords can fit into what you are putting as your resume, such that by the time you are putting it up online, maybe sometimes you see some jobs on LinkedIn advert. By the time, even without your awareness, you already see number of people. You see maybe 1,000 plus. You already see maybe a job that just need one person. You already and by the time you check the time it was posted, maybe 10 a.m. Between 10 a.m. and 10:30, you already see 500. Sometimes that might even scare you to say, man, for this single job, 10,000 people. But that's more reason why you need to take your time. I always remember what Wenger said, which is very key. If you take your time and just apply for 3 jobs, You understand? Tailoring your resume to those it's better than just, okay, I saw one, you drop that same resume. I saw another one, you drop that resume, without being mindful of those key things that the hiring manager are looking out for. You get it? Then showcase your work, have your portfolio. As data guys, remember I said, when you don't have that big job yet, keep doing your interns, keep doing these little ones you are doing. You are building up yourself for something big. In doing those interns, you've done one project, you've been able to do one Power BI project, you've been able to do one MS Excel project. And remember, as he rightly said, when you put this thing on your resume, you can hyperlink it, you understand, to where the hiring manager can decide to even look at it to say, okay, yes, this is what the person has done. So showcase your work. You understand? Let your portfolio show in your resume and be able to speak to it. Yeah, you understand? Be able to defend what you have done. You understand? Impress the interviewer with what you have done. Because, today in this world of copy and paste, it's easy to want to copy someone's project and put on your resume, or you decide to fine-tune your resume to look sweet. But unfortunately, when you now get to you speaking to it, that's where you now fall your hand. You understand? So if it's one project you have done, put it there. It doesn't have to be 3, 4. You understand? As you rightly said, you might want to carve a need for yourself. The data space is very wide. Tech is very wide. You understand? You might not be, you might be a guru in Excel, you might not be a guru in Power BI. You understand? So once you carve that need for yourself, if all your projects speak to that area of niche you've covered, let it be there and let it be something you can speak to, you understand, and you can defend at the interview desk. Then some few tips to stand out. As little as this might look, it's very important. Please, let's always be professional and appropriate at the interview table. Sorry, there's something I wrote here. First impression. You understand? First impression. Sorry, I have to reference the holy book that'll tell you that man looks at the outward, God looks on the inside. You understand? See, no matter what you have in your head, you have the skills, you have the technicality. There's a way you first appear on the panel that might put off every other person. You understand? That might put off your interviewer. So your first impression matters. And there's always a saying that it's better you overdress than being underdressed. For us in the data space, data, even yes, I work in the bank, but it's interesting to know that for the tech guys, we seem to have in code maybe a different kind of dressing than the other people, because we understand that the tech guys, they always want to be free. Maybe you want to come to work with your polo, with your jean, you understand. But please, why don't you get into the system first and know that, oh, this is what is acceptable? They can start dressing like that. Don't say, okay, because I'm a data guy. People always say data people folks are freelance, and you have an opportunity for an interview, and either physical or online, you are going in there with your hoodie, with your round neck, and people will like, come on, where is this guy coming from? It's better you are overdressed, formal, good, and when you ever get job, you now see the dress code that, oh, you can relax yourself as a tech guy, as a techie, you can fold your leaves. It's better, at least you're already in the system, so you understand the culture of the place. But don't assume that, okay, because we know that tech guys are you will often dress down, you now appear at an interview desk all dressed down, and you understand that could just be a put off even from onset. And remember, if it's a put off, every other thing you're now trying to say, the interviewer will now just try to now start adjusting him or herself to listen to you, to say, okay, let's put his appearance aside, and he has some stuff in his head, his hands on, but oftentimes because when you come to point of interview, you have, particularly when you have a list of people to interview, the listening span is very short. Probably we just want to hear what you have to offer in 5-10 minutes. You understand? And imagine in your first appearance as put off the panel. For me to readjust back, you must have even introduce yourself and talk about your project before I now start listening to you. Unfortunately, it will be like this guy never said anything, but you have stuff. So please and please don't shoot yourself in the leg by by appearing unprofessional or underdressed. You understand? So that's why I put it there to say it is preferable to be slightly overdressed rather than undressed for professional occasions. Then please, effective communication. Remember at the beginning, I said proud to the interview. You've done your research, you've made your research, you've googled, you've done use your chat ppt, but please and please, when you get to the interview, those things you have learned, those things you have practiced are just guide. Listen to, pay active attention, because sometimes some people just want to have learned this how to respond to a question like this, and it's just quick to want to pour it out. Perhaps probably you've crammed it, and because of that you're even lost to what the person in front of you or online is actually speaking to you about. So please, effective communication skills, your active listening, your eye contact, then your ability to articulate the thought of your panelists, of the interviewer. When you have all there's a way you look at someone on an interview table that shows confidence. You understand? You maintain that eye contact. You're speaking with confidence. You understand? Even in quotes, if you are saying jargons, you understand? But that eye contact will tell us, say, no, no, no. This guy is confident in what he's saying. So please, let's maintain that active listening, that eye contact, and articulate. Because if you're not articulate with your thoughts, you know what? Now, a question has been thrown to you. You know the answer, but you're just mumbling, you're picking from A, you're picking from B. At the end of the day, when you land, we cannot put what you have said together. So it's good you structure your thought, and you can move from point A to point B to convey whatever you are presenting, so that everybody, remember I said that until you can't say communication has happened if the end product, the end person is, because communication is a two-way thing. You understand? The receiver, you get it, the speaker and the receiver. So until when there's an understanding of what you have said, you have not communicated. So you might just be mumbling, say this, but what you're saying could actually be the things you have done. But if you are not be able to put those thoughts together, you are not clearly articulated the things you are trying to say, it's almost as good as not knowing it at all. um we shall talk about showcase your unique strength and experience. Please, unique is the emphasis here. Unique is the emphasis. And I'll still go back to where I started from. Sorry, I didn't hear that. Hello, someone speaking? Sorry, can I continue?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. So I said my emphasis here is on the word unique strength. Remember, I said research. You've done your search, you've checked out for the things that possible questions and answer, but you need to always tailor it. You understand, to your own personal experience, because your unique strength what would differentiate candidate A from candidate B. Then always bring your experience to play whenever you have the privilege of being heard. Bring your experience to play, how your practical experience have been able to make you resolve an issue. Because sometimes these are the things that resonate with the interviewer, to say, okay, in the event that a similar scenario play out in this organization, how can you fit in, or how can you bring your A game to bear? So don't always use generic responses. Yes, your research, those generic responses is just a guide. But when you are now having the opportunity to talk, always tailor it down to your unique strength. And as I begin to wrap up, yes, these are common errors that I said we should avoid. Lack of preparation. I've said this, I cannot overflow it. Preparation is very important. And when you have that opportunity, always put your A game, bring your A game to bear, put your best foot forward. You understand? Understand the company and the role you are also going into, you're applying for. You understand? So don't never appear in an interview this body language. Now there's some common errors. There's something about when you fold your arms when you're engaging, and if that it sounds like you're being defensive, you're like, it sounds like as if you're being disinterested, you're being disinterested. It's key whenever You are privileged to be at an interview table, you understand? And you know something to look out for. They say there's a lot not being said even when you are silent. You understand? Non-verbal communication. You might not be saying anything, but your body gesticulation, maybe when someone else is speaking, those are some things that we try to look out for. So please and please, let's get our body language right. You understand? Even when we are not speaking, the non-verbal communication, let's maintain a positive outlook. Then overly rehearsed or generic response are spoken to this. These are errors we should avoid. You understand? Don't carry everything just saw on ChatGPT or on Grammarly and you just come and pour it down to your panelists. You understand? Because the truth of the matter is, oftentimes at the interview table, we will know response over time. The interviewers will get to know response that are genuine or that are just rehearsed and just being poor because there's no correlation between what you have seen online, between what you have read. There's no correlation with yourself as you speak at that point. You understand? So please and please, there's a way you can rehearse. Rehearsing preparation is good. But when you over rehearse and not applying it to unique experiences, then you find out that you've only just shot yourself at the foot. As a round of strategy for success during the interview, yes. Remember I said don't give a posture that shows like you're being defensive. You can have a rapport. You know, there's a way you can engage your panelists and they will probably tilt to your own line of conversation. You understand? So feel free, always feel relaxed. You understand? Oftentimes, one of the things I encourage when you're upon interview, ask how do you want your panelists to be addressed? Sometimes it could just be an icebreaker because perhaps you have gotten to the interview panel and the tension is there. What would they say? This and that. Your icebreaker after introduce yourself. There's no big deal you even asking for the name of the interview. Yes, a good panelist sometimes first introduce themselves and they'll ask you to introduce themselves. In introduction, you're free, just maybe to wet the ground or make everywhere soft. You can ask your panel, please, how will you want me to address you? And you'll be surprised sometimes depending on the context or the environment. Some will tell, okay, just call me Mr. T. You understand? Some might just give you a nickname, and some might just say, okay, address me by my first name. You understand? That alone, you've just tried to break a barrier. So feel free. So you can use names. Just find a common ground. You understand? Sometimes, if you are remember one of the things we say active listening. Listening attentively. Sometimes you might get the area of interest of the person interviewing you. Sometimes, yes, you have prepared yourself, you are so tech up, and it might not even be all those your tech jargon that interest the interview at that point. So, but when you listen, you might just get one or two things that is the area of interest of the interviewer, and you might just decide to stay on that lane. You understand? Then engage in light conversation when the opportunity, if the opportunity arises, that as a way of easing your tension. You understand? And when answering or when providing responses, be direct. No point being about the bush. You understand? Provide clear example. Respect for time. In the event that you are thrown a question, and yes, there should always be something to say, but there could be event occasion where, truly speaking, you seem to be blank at that point. See, there's no big deal to say, I'm sorry, I don't have a response to this. You've only respected the interviewer's time, you've respected your time, then you go blank on a question and you're just there and you're thinking and everybody's looking at the sky and the time is going. So if a question is thrown to you, if by adventure you don't have a direct response, you don't have an example, or you seem to just be short of what at that particular time, say there's no harm. And I'm saying it for free. There's no harm in telling your partner, I'm sorry, I don't have a response to this. You understand? And you can go ahead. And even sometimes, maybe just because of the pressure, even responding to other questions, you now pick up. Feel free, probably after the parents are done with their line of question, and feel free, and you can remember that question. You can always come back to it. Say, okay, for that question, I think I have a response to it. And you provide. But if you still don't have a response, just let it go. As I said, you don't have a response to it. But for the ones you have response, please let's be direct, give clear examples, and oftentimes at the end of when panelists are done, oftentimes they will ask you, do you have a question for us? And funny enough, you see an interview and someone will just say, nothing. Are you work? Are you fine? Please try to always have one or two. You don't know what that question does. You understand? It only shows your enthusiasm. You understand, to be a part of company. Remember, you've done some research about the company. You've asked questions. Sometimes you might even know one or two things the company does not have. So when you have the opportunity to now speak, to say, when people tell you, do you have anything for us? Feel free to ask questions. You might just even want to understand how the culture of the company better, how do they do things, their approach to issue, because you might have a particular issue, the approach of company A may differ from B. You understand? And usually when people throw such question back to the panelists, oftentimes it looks like the table has turned around. You are now the one interviewing your panelists. But what automatically we pick up from there is that you've only shown interest, you understand, in what in being a part of, you just show some genuine interest in that role and in being a part of that organization. As a round of post-interview action, yes, this is 50-50. It's not always compulsory, but it might just be the edge. And someone asked that, is it always necessary? For me, I would say, if you are open to doing it, please go ahead. Some will say that doesn't it show, someone actually chatted me at the office yesterday. Apparently she had an interview in the office, switching from one role to another, but still in the same company. So she was interviewed 2 weeks ago, and after the interview she was told she'll get a feedback, or they'll get across to her in 5 days time. And apparently the hiring manager haven't got back to her, so she chatted me that, is it not sign of that, can she go ahead to buzz the hiring manager to say, okay, I'm waiting, I'm yet to hear from you, does it show sign of desperation? I said no, it all depends on how you put your words together. You understand? Sometimes after an interview, just gratitude, importance. Peradventure, if you are privileged to have met the hiring manager online prior to the interview, you understand, feel free to drop. You understand, because the truth of the matter is many people are even waiting for that interview opportunity that didn't get. So if out of 1,000 applicants and you are among the 10 shortlisted, feel free to show appreciation. You understand, in showing your appreciation, you can still now recurve and reiterate your interest. It's not an act of desperation. It might just be that one thing. We've seen interviews whereby we needed just one person to fill a role, and the last candidate are like the best fit. If it was possible to hire the two would have hired. But unfortunately, the manning gap that is available for that role is just one. You never can tell. It might just be this one thing out of the both that you've done that. No, yes, both are good. They are both technically sound, but this person has something. There's something called core value. Something of core value is not about your technical skills. You understand? These are some inherent ability, and it might just be that one thing your hiring manager just say, no, 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 this person knows how to do beyond. It might just be that one thing you've done that is beyond what the other person have done. So this a bait, sometimes a bait for when we see thank you note, you understand, for okay, and this really, I think that will be off. Okay, yes, reflecting, this one is now your own personal assignment. After you've done an interview, go back, recalibrate. You understand, you're no longer under tension, you've left the interview, evaluate your performance, speak the truth to yourself, know where you are falling short, and know where you think you need to improve. Because yes, in case you don't even land that job, there might be other opportunities, but you will always leverage on your previous performance. So please, for every time you have an interview, always go back and do a reassessment of your performance. You understand? And even you are opportune, if you're opportune to even know maybe someone, because sometimes you could be opportune to meet someone on the panel. At the latter, feel free to tell me, okay, see, now we are no longer on the interview. Please just tell me how I performed. You might not be picked for that job, but feedback is always good. So the feedback will be from yourself, from self-assessment, or feedback will even be from someone on the panel that you get to know. Tell me how I've performed, so that when such opportunity comes up again, you will not make the same mistake. You understand? Then the power of networking. So Benga already said this. You understand? You might just be one person away from that your dream job. As he rightly said, jobs come faster through referral than the general pool of application. That's the truth of it. You understand? Through referral. And how do you get it? Through networking, you seek opportunities, maintain connections, you understand? Please and please, never underlook anybody you see out there. That person might just be your joker to your next job. So please keep in touch with the connections you have made, probably through sessions like this. Even when you go for interview, sometimes you go for interview and you meet 10 people, 20 people, you exchange numbers, you exchange profile, maintain those contacts. You never can tell where you guys will meet later again. You understand? Just continue to build your cabal of network and continue to seek opportunity. And I think that will be all. Conclusion is just a summary of all we've said so far. Preparation is key, effective communication, and please avoid common pitfalls which I've listed. Is not limited to that, but those are just a few of it. On that note, I want to say thank you very much, and I believe we've gained one or two things out from this session. Thank you. I'll be all over to you.
Wow. Wow, that was a powerful session. I don't know what other adjective to use to describe that other than being very, very powerful. I've learned so much from Wenga's session to your session, from networking rightly, how I can position myself strategically during interviews, my body language, the kind of questions I ask, the way I relate during interviews. So like this is so much. I've learned so much, and I believe everyone here has learned one or two things. Like we've learned actionable steps that we can start taking. Like from now on, I can mention like 5 things I can start doing now. I can improve on my current process, things I'm currently doing, and I have like at least 5 of it. And I'm very sure that all of us on this call, if we are sincere with ourselves, we have learned one or two things. No matter, even when you have a job currently, you've learned something you can even do better during interviews or post interviews. Another thing that stood out for me personally is when he said someone asking about if he or she could follow up with the interview if he or she doesn't want to sound like desperate or no, and you're like, yes, you can go ahead and do that. That's something most of us are usually like, oh, I'm not sure, should I do this? And he also mentioned gratitude, like saying, oh, thank you for the feedback, or receiving feedback from people, going back to them and telling them thank you. And that way it positions you in such a way that you're open to feedback, you're ready to improve on yourself personally. I saw a post on Twitter about someone telling each other, I am more than this, you can't do this to me. That's not a right approach at all. But now we've learned how to should I call it behave, or the way we should relate, the way we should react, the way we should position ourselves, the way we should structure the way we approach interviews. So thank you so much, Tolulope. I learned so much. Please, let's drop our clap emojis, love emojis. Let's appreciate our speaker. Let's appreciate them. Thank you so much. I dropped the speaker's LinkedIn profile in the chat box. You can do it, so follow them. You can follow up on them. I've not seen any question in the chat box. I believe we are clear with everything that we've learned in this session. So I want to say thank you to the organizers. Thank you everyone for making out time to join in. Thank you for taking a step to that shows you are intentional about making progress in your career. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you have any questions, like I said, we can continue the conversation in the community. You can reach out to our speakers. Like I said, Tolulope is open to mentoring young people. You can ask him your question. He's an HR professional with more than 10 years of experience. So really, you can reach out to them. So on this note, that brings us to the end of today's webinar. We've had an incredible session, trust me. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. So bye for now. Thank you so much once again.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you, everyone. Bye.